Our guest played 15 NBA seasons. He's now an ESPN NBA analyst. He is a podcast host. You cannot turn on ESPN for more than 5 minutes. I think it's federally mandated that you have to see his face. JJ Redick is with us. JJ's appearance brought to you by DraftKings, offering the NBA Christmas no-sweat bet. Bet on any NBA Christmas Day game on the DraftKings Sportsbook and get a free bet back if you lose. Where are you going to be watching games on Christmas here, JJ?
Well, I'm actually excited because I'll be calling my first Christmas Day game this year. I've got the Philadelphia 76ers at the New York Knicks at the Garden. It's the first game of the day, a great way to kick off Christmas Day with the NBA. I retired partially because I was tired of playing on Christmas and missing Christmas with my kids. But my whole family, it's in New York. I live in New York. My whole family's coming to the game. I'll be able to spend Christmas morning opening presents with them. And then, I'm probably going to go home and turn my TV on and sit on the couch the rest of the day and watch the other 4 games.
That's kind of a lot of pressure there, isn't it, JJ? It's not they could have given you Raptors, Timberwolves on a Tuesday or something. We're just going to roll right into Knicks at the Garden on Christmas Day with the whole country watching?
Well, no, I mean, I've called games. It's my first Christmas game.
Got it.
First Christmas game, yeah. No, I've Tim Corrigan was nice enough last year to give me a couple regular season games in March, and I guess I was good enough because I got 3 playoff games, and then when I did my new deal with ESPN, I have a full games package. So that's been a lot of fun, and I'm calling the game with Ryan Ruocco, who's one of my favorite guys at ESPN. We just called the game together in Dallas against the Bucks. That was an awesome game, and Cassidy will be with us. Cassidy will be with us as well on the sideline. So it's going to be a fun game.
Sounds awesome. Tell me about the Brooklyn Nets. I feel like we've talked about them for let's say the better part of 2-3 seasons here for every wrong reason possible. It's things aren't working. It's Kyrie drama. Suddenly they've won 7 in a row here. Is this a real thing with the Nets, or is it a little bit of smoke and mirrors right now?
Well, here's the thing. I was pretty much off the Nets last year, and even at the beginning of the season, there was clearly, outside of just the off-court stuff, there was dysfunction on the court, and they didn't feel like a cohesive basketball team. They certainly feel that way now. I was at the first game after Steve Nash had gotten fired. They played the Bulls. They lost that game, and since then they've been fantastic. I think the big thing, Kevin's been awesome. Kevin's always awesome. But the big thing is they've been much better defensively. I still have some question marks about their size and width down low, if that makes sense. They're second to last in the NBA in defensive rebounding. But they have the offensive skill set, and they have guys like Kevin and Ben, bigger wings that can guard multiple positions. Kevin, by the way, has been unbelievable on the defensive end. We don't often think of him as an elite two-way player, and that's a real shame because he has been great defensively for a number of years now.
I think Kyrie's averaging like 26 points a game right now. Is this actually going to work out, or are we going to wake up one day before the trade deadline and he's a 76er or something?
No, I think you look, give Kyrie Irving some credit. Like what happened earlier in the season was an absolute disaster, and I spoke at length about it on First Take. And since he came back, there hasn't been any drama. He's played really good basketball. He's played winning basketball. Kyrie the talent, Kyrie the basketball player, the guy that so many fans across the world have fallen in love with. Like, that's what we're seeing, and it's been fun to watch him play basketball.
JJ Redick is our guest. What's happening with the Celtics right now, JJ?
That's a great question. So the Celtics this season, under Joe Mazzulla, has done a fantastic job. I should shout out Joe Mazzulla because right now, I'm here on courtesy of DraftKings. Joe Mazzulla got the head coaching job of the Boston Celtics literally 4 days before training camp opened, and he's got the highest odds right now on DraftKings for Coach of the Year. Like, he's done a fantastic job. What has happened lately is they haven't made their threes. I don't want to simplify it, but this is a team that has been 1 or 2 in the NBA all season in attempts. They have prioritized spacing and pace and shooting threes. And they were shooting well over 40% for the entire season. I think since December 10th, they're under 30%. They just haven't shot the ball well recently. The other question mark early in the season, their offense was historic. It's since normalized a little bit. I think they were over 120 points per 100 possessions, which would be league best in NBA history. They're at 116-ish now. Their defense was not great early in the season. That has actually trended in the right direction, and you're starting to see them play better defensively. But, yeah, they just haven't made their threes lately.
The Lakers seem like a complete mess. That's been going on for a while as well. I'm an NFL insider, JJ. I don't dabble in NBA news, but I would say from what I'm hearing, the Anthony Davis injury doesn't sound great. Might be one of those navicular fractures, which would be a season ender. He's getting additional opinions and all that, but that would seem like the type of death blow that might have the Lakers being sellers at the deadline. Am I right?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Because basketball fans, the media, we've all wanted to see the version of Anthony Davis that we've seen over the past 4 to 6 weeks, just playing dominant on both ends of the floor, efficient, scoring, really attacking the paint, getting the free throw line, and then he has really what was a kind of a freak injury, it was just an accidental play. It's really unfortunate, and you certainly will have to now think about the long term, which the Lakers haven't really prioritized. And most teams that have LeBron James on their team don't prioritize the long term. I don't see a path, though, without a healthy Anthony Davis for them to become a contender. And there was a lot of talk earlier in the season about maybe trading Russell Westbrook for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. The Pacers are now better than expected. So I don't know if that trade ever gets done. The Pacers, by the way, are a really fun basketball team to watch. If you ever want to watch a really high-level offense orchestrated by Tyrese Halliburton, go tune into a Pacers game. It's a lot of fun to watch.
How does this all end for LeBron, JJ? I mean, you as a player, I imagine everybody, you kind of started getting the sense at some point that you may not be the player that you were. With LeBron, he's performed at such an unbelievable level for so long. Do you see a guy who still has time left here, or is this going to be kind of a slow descent into, I hate to say irrelevance because he's the most relevant player of the past 15 years in the NBA, but is this kind of a fade-away situation, or can he make another run here before he's done?
Look, I think he can make another run. I think he can make another run playing high-level basketball. I don't know that he does it with this Lakers roster. In fact, I would venture to say he doesn't do it with this Lakers roster. It's interesting when you talk about relevance, because I think LeBron will always be relevant as long as he's playing. And the basketball world has waited, I'm sure his detractors and haters have waited very patiently for him to have some sort of decline and steep drop-off. And he's held off Father Time for so long now. And what he's doing in his 20th year is remarkable. It's remarkable. And he's, in some ways, the same way that Tom Brady did it at the quarterback position. LeBron has reset the standard for playing at a high level into your late 30s. I don't think there's any player that has played at this level in their 20th year.
JJ, real quick about Nikola Jokic. Can you just put in perspective kind of what we're seeing here, and is it realistic that he could win a third straight MVP for the first time since Larry Bird?
It's realistic. It's realistic. Look, I am a fan of analytics and advanced stats. I'm a fan of the eye test. I watched that guy play, and it's clear that he's one of the 3 or 4 best basketball players in the world. By the way, we have a lot of 3 or 4 best basketball players in the world. I think we have more than 3 or 4 best basketball players in the world. That's how deep the talent pool in the league is right now. I watched that game the other night that was on TNT, and I'm just amazed at his mind. Nikola Jokic plays in a way that he knows everything that could potentially happen in a given play, and then he just makes the right play every time. There's no overthinking. There's no agenda. It's like he has slowed down time, and it has gotten ahead of everyone else. Everyone else is working, at a different pace than him, and he is able to just orchestrate and make plays. If they end up a top 2 seed in the West, he's going to have a really good chance at winning his third straight MVP.
Yeah, do you think they are the favorite in the West? And is this finally the year that the Nuggets go on a deep playoff run? Because that's kind of been the thing the last couple of years.
They're not the favorite in the West. The West has a lot of really good teams. I don't think there's going to be the separation at the top that I think you're eventually going to see. And you have seen a little bit in the East with Boston, Milwaukee, and Cleveland also is a really good basketball team. Now the Nets are playing great basketball as well. But in the West, there's just too many really good teams. And I don't actually have a favorite in the West, but the team that I think has a really good chance is the Memphis Grizzlies. They've played great basketball. They're currently tied for first. They were 9-3 with Desmond Bane in the lineup. I had question marks last year in the playoffs about them sort of needing a second star along with John Morant, and Desmond in those 12 good games proved that he can be that guy. So if he's healthy and Jaren Jackson continues to play at the level on both ends of the floor that he's playing at right now, I think Memphis has a really good chance to come out of the West.
And how fun is it watching the Pelicans play and finally seeing Zion kind of live up to all that pre-draft hype?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's hard as a basketball fan, somebody who watches games every single night, not to have favorite teams to tune into.
Yeah, right.
I have some favorite teams. The Pelicans are one of them. Grizzlies are another. I love watching the Warriors play with Steph Curry. The Pelicans are such a deep team, and this is where I think they have potentially a real advantage in the playoffs because they have a number of players that can play multiple positions, start multiple positions. One game, one series, you may want to play heavy drop coverage with Jonas Valanciunas. Maybe the next series you need more of Larry Nance and the ability to switch out to perimeter players. Maybe you need Jose Alvarado to play 30 minutes tonight and be a pest on the defensive end. And then they have the wings with Trey Murphy and Brandon Ingram and Herb Jones. This is just a really deep team and a fun guy. By the way, I named all those guys. I didn't mention Zion, who is playing at an unbelievable level. I mentioned the talent pool in the NBA. By the way, I just want to point this out just because I have the numbers in front of me. So on Christmas Day, we've got the five guys who have the best odds to win MVP on DraftKings Sportsbook. We've got all of them playing. We've also got LeBron James. We've also got John Morant. We were supposed to get Steph Curry. We were supposed to get Anthony Davis. Zion isn't even playing on Christmas. I think about how many great players are in the league right now. It's a great time to be an NBA fan.
Well, there's 7 guys averaging 30 points a game. Like, we haven't seen that in a long, long time.
No, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who the casual basketball fan is probably not that aware of, like he's another guy who could potentially be an All-NBA, All-Star guy in Oklahoma City this year. And they're a pesky team. Them, Houston, Orlando, they don't have great records, but they play good basketball every night and have the chance to beat anyone.
Hey, JJ, TJ here. I just want to maybe switch the focus to the college game real quick. And myself personally, as a Duke fan, what do you think college sports and more specifically Duke basketball is going to look like without Coach K roaming the sidelines for the first time in nearly 50 years?
Yeah, it's interesting because Coach retired during a very interesting transition period for all of college athletics with NIL and the transfer portal. I've had a number of college coaches say to me, you recruit a kid to sign, the kid signs, and then you've got to recruit him to stay every year. And so that's a really different dynamic. The reason that college sports have existed in the way that they've existed is because the coaches and the schools and the conferences and the NCAA have had complete control over the players. And over the last few years, because of NIL, because of the transfer portal, they have lost a great amount of control. And so I don't know how or when the transition period ends and sort of what that looks like. But I think we're going to see a lot of different things happen over the next 5 years, 7 years, whatever it may be. Specifically to Duke, I think John Shire's in a great position. He knows the school. He knows the program. He's a great basketball mind. He's clearly a great recruiter. Duke, specifically this year's team, I've tuned in for a few games. I think with Lively and Whitehead being in and out of the lineup and being hurt, I think it's really hurt them, and they're young. But they certainly have some talent to make some noise in the tournament.
You can see him calling that Sixers-Knicks game on Christmas. You can listen to him on the Old Man and the Three podcast. JJ Redick, thanks a lot for the time, man.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.